Welcome back to your video. In today's video, I'm going to play Six Guys. In today's video, we're going to be doing our speed build on our Amish town, our Amish country series. And in today's video, we put in a new financial district, and then we also get to work on a bit of farm changing, I would guess you would say. But we change around the farm a bit to make it look and feel more realistic. But so, mainly start by placing offices and a new district to place it for that, and then I looked in for getting stocks, and I bought some that were fairly cheap, and then especially bought the ones for the farmlands because of us immediately getting work on our farms. But so I first got to work by changing around how the roads are placed. But so instead of having them on side roads, I had them on the main road, and then also on a different roads as they go through, and then I just have crossover roads. And because of how big these fields are, it feels like they are it's like supposed to be one big field, and then this road kind of just connects the fields all together, which I do wish that we did have a little crop prop that came with the industrial DLC, but we don't have that. And then I did place down like these little farm hubs, kinda like in like the middle in some places, by just using the large and medium field sizes instead of just the small, because these are all the small ones I'm using. Then here, just because I didn't like how it was turning out, I did end up keeping it, but it required quite a bit of modding to the land, and then I was able to upgrade this pretty much to the max, and then I placed down some of the different towers that we get from upgrading, and then I also found places for banks, because if you don't know what the banks do, basically what they do is that they go to commercial buildings, and they'll take the money from that, and it's just a way, I forget, it just is another service just to increase happiness and land value for your commercial buildings, and also it just allows you to have armored cars going around your city, which is just beautiful. It's just a fun thing to do. But pretty much once I do get it maxed out, I'm probably just going to sell off everything once they become profitable, just in this way we don't lose a whole lot of money, just because the stocks, they cost an insane amount, especially if you max them all out. But we end up just putting in more farmland, and then we basically are right there for our university, so I do just get that to hopefully get up, and then we do level up to 80,000, which our next milestone is 100k, which is our last milestone. That's when we unlock monuments, although monuments, they aren't really realistic, so we aren't going to be really using them. I'm focusing more on realism here, and then I did end up expanding our field. Realistically, they would have had the field go all the way along the train tracks and maybe even over them, or they would have just used the train tracks as like a barrier to keep people off them. But because the fields are all square and we can't get them precise, unlike with say like the fruit fields, which if you watch the Island series, I explain more on that, on how you can expand the fields there to make it fit to the size, but can't with the normal crop fields. So stuck with that. Go back here, buy some stocks, and then I did have this train set up. I will come back and revise that later with a better one that looks nicer and feels more realistic. And then we did just have to make sure that everything was wheat. And then, because of the big farm expansion, I added in a new silo, or a new silo system, and then I expanded our route out, and then I continued the road of the cargo train hub, out, and then to connect to this new road that I expanded off of our cow farm, to make this new, give me a minute. Gotta stay hydrated. But they give us this new like slaughterhouse farm area, but basically animals will be sent here to then be killed. Plays down some barracks and then also a maintenance building. just to give like that little extra bit of realism. Place down paths right here, just because realistically they would have just made that like a big dirt pad for everything to be on, then just put the concrete pads for like the building and the foundations. But so I had that all connected, and I moved the baseball field just to allow us to put in our final buildings in our campus. Here, or well, just to put in the last few buildings to increase our attractiveness, which then allowed us to get our campus done once the academic year ended. And then, that was pretty much it with the campus, other than me. I think we do end up finishing it off. I don't know, it's been a minute since I recorded this, but I guess I hydrated. I'm sorry, this room is quite dusty that I'm in currently. But I end up putting in fences all throughout the farm. Just because they would have put this in as like just to give like a border to the farm. And then I ended up getting rid of this just soon so I could place the new stuff that we got. And so that means that our liberal arts campus is all done. And so I do end up getting rid of some of the policies for it. Just because we don't need a whole load of students going here anymore. Instead, we want the students going to like our newer campuses, because I do plan on having all of the campuses done. Because this city is quite big. And then I do just put in some trees all along here, just to make it look all nice. And then I get rid of the stuff. And I don't really care if the attractiveness goes down, because we don't need to worry about the level anymore. Just because of the size. And I do end up trying to keep the field here. And then I make a nice little show of it. Or I make the field look all nice. Yeah, that's basically it. And then here's the final product. If you have enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next one. Bye!